yet another robotic vacuum from SwitchBot. And once again, this is K10 Plus. This will be the third K10 Plus I do review in the last 12 months. We already had K10 Plus, K10 Plus Pro, and now we have K10 Plus Pro Combo. But is it worth looking at it? Well, we'll talk about that in just a couple of seconds. As I've mentioned, I've tested a couple of SwitchBot robots. I haven't tested S10 robot, but I did test all the iterations of K10 Plus. Now, as I've said, we have a new one, and that one is called K10 Plus Pro Combo. What it is actually upgraded or K10 Plus Pro with the add-on, and that add-on is a hand vacuum cleaner. And why I do think that this is an awesome idea. If I look at my previous robots, all of them so far, from any vendor, any manufacturer we have on the market, you usually have robots that cleans everything in the apartment, then once a week, every 2 weeks or once a month, you do need to pull out the normal standard vacuum cleaner and do a bit more thorough cleaning or some places where that robot cannot reach. Or for example, in this case, you can also clean the radiators, you can clean your sofa, you can clean the shelves, etc, etc. By having or combining 2 vacuum cleaners inside one box, that's a really great idea. But what makes it smart or not? Well, actually, the handheld vacuum cleaner is not that smart. No, you cannot send it out because you have to take it in your hand. No, you cannot control it from within the app, but you can still see some information. For example, information about the filters, when you have to replace them. The good thing and why this is such an awesome combo is that those 2 vacuums are sharing one common thing, or actually 2 things. That is the power supply, because they are getting power through the base station, both the standard robot and also this handheld vacuum cleaner, but also they share the emptying bag. This bag is a bit different than any previous bags I've seen, because it has 2 holes. One hole is used to empty the dust or dirt from the vacuum cleaner, the robot one, and the other one is used to empty the handheld vacuum cleaner. But it's really genius, because if you find a spot where you want to settle down your vacuum robot cleaner, your robot, that same spot will be used for your handheld vacuum cleaner. Now you do not have to find 2 spots or cupboard place for your handheld or normal vacuum, then a robot. This is just all in one. In terms of unboxing, also the experience is a bit different, because we are used to just tearing up the box, pulling out the vacuum cleaner, setting up the dock, and more or less that's it in terms of what you need to do with your robot. Well, not in this case. For the combo pack, you need to get the screwdriver, but you do not need to get it because it's also included in the kit. There are 4 screws where you need to attach this base station for the handheld vacuum to the base station, and while it may seem redundant because everything could have been packed already assembled, no, the box would be much bigger. The second thing is, well, as I said, the normal vacuum, robot vacuum, you just pull it out of the box. Maybe you need to insert the side brush, maybe you need to insert the main brush, maybe you need to insert the dustbin, but more or less everything is just click and everything is in place. Since this one has multiple purposes, or how you can use multiple attachments for it, there are a couple of things that you need to assemble. In the kit, as always, you receive a bit of spare parts, for example, 2 spare filters, one filter for this handheld vacuum and the other one for the robot. You receive the wet napkins that I do not use that much, but I do use them from time to time. You also have one spare side brush, plus one side brush that you need to install on the robot. And more or less, this is it. You plug everything in, the handheld vacuum is already ready to use, and the setup process for the K10 Plus Pro, the robot itself, is the same as with previous models. You need to start it up, turn the switch on the base of the unit, press 2 buttons to start the Wi-Fi configuration process, go to the app, set up the Wi-Fi, so SSID and the password, and more or less this is it. I have, as I said, 3 robots. This is actually the 3rd robot. First 2 ones, K10 Plus and K10 Plus Pro, have same type of the map. The K10 Plus Pro from the combo kit has a bit different map, and everything was a bit different. I don't know if this is by design, I don't know if others will be upgraded to that design, but it is just a bit different than the one I was using for the K10 Plus and the normal K10 Plus Pro. You start everything up, you set up everything in the app, and then you have option to do a quick map scan. The robot will start browsing through your home, apartment or wherever you live, and it will create a quick map. The next time you send the robot out, the robot will fill in the gaps that it didn't find for the first time, and of course then you can also customize the map, create rooms, boundaries, no-go zones, carpet zones, etc, etc. So once again, why would you or why wouldn't you upgrade to this combo robot? Let's take a closer look at the specs, while in the background I will be unboxing it or something. This robot is called 3-in-1. I'm not sure that I would go by that name or would use that 3-in-1 design name for it, but okay. So we have a vacuum robot, we have handheld robot, and we also have a joint dustbin. This dustbin that can be used by both handheld vacuum and the robot vacuum is the number 3 in 3-in-1 design. But on the other hand, this fuse base, what SwitchBot is calling this design, occupies just a very small footprint. It's a A4 paper in size, which really is a small footprint if you consider that those are two devices. The bags that are actually smaller than the bags that were previously used with K10 Plus or K10 Plus Pro are antibacterial, and they, according to the specs, should remove up to 99.99% of all common bacteria. If you're wondering how the emptying station works, for the vacuum it's clear. The pump inside the base pulls the air from the dustbin and that's it. But for the handheld brush they are using something called twin flow suction technology. What it does, it means that at the same time the air pump inside the handheld vacuum starts, but also the pump inside the base station. And that is preventing any large particles from clogging, and it also ensures that all debris is efficiently sucked inside the dust bag. That also means that less maintenance is required and the overall process is more hygienic. But what about brushes? The brush on the K10 Plus Pro was actually upgraded when it was upgraded to the Pro. But this one is also featuring very nice brush that should keep any hair out of it. Not that I have that much hair, and also my beard is much shorter than it previously was. So it is using all rubber anti-tangle brush that quickly picks up long hair and pet fur from the floor without tangling and making the, as we mentioned previously, maintenance much easier. For the cordless vacuum, it is using V-shaped brush combined with the comb design. The V shape gathers hair and the comb acts like a brush to straighten the fur. If we compare the sound or sound of silence for both of those vacuums, the small robot or K10 Plus Pro, the vacuum robot, is only 45 decibels in a silent mode. Of course, you will not run it always in the silent mode. I usually run it at the max or turbo mode, but yes, if you need or want, you can set it up in a silent mode and send it away during the night, where people will be able to sleep while the robot is actually vacuuming. For the cordless vacuum, we are not that silent. And by we are talking about cordless vacuum. It is around 65 decibels, but on the other hand, this is around 10 decibels quieter than the most mainstream vacuum cleaners. So it is louder, but it is really not that loud. And yes, you can change the speed, and with speed you can also change the sound and decibel that it is producing. The biggest problem with any vacuum is, does it suck? And both of them suck pretty well. If I'm not mistaken, the suction power for the vacuum, small robot vacuum, is around 3500 pascals, which is okay, but the cordless vacuum delivers 20,000 pascals. And while it may not look to you that way, I was really able to clean this carpet out of dog hair. This is something that other vacuums, even the mainstream vacuums, had issues. Other characteristics of the K10 Plus Pro are the same as with standalone K10 Plus Pro, of course. It is using DTOF radar technology, direct time to flight radar technology. That is the technology that is used for autonomous driving, and it really helps with the navigation. But we also have additional sensors that are used for obstacle avoidance and also for the multi-floor mapping. It is really hard to describe this robot because you haven't used it. when I received the invitation to test this one, I was really looking forward to because I like to play with the new tech. But I was also a bit skeptical on why would you put everything inside one vacuum. If that one place where everything is stored is not something that is bothering you, then let's compare it, for example, this combo with normal standard Robo Vacuum and the stick vacuum. The price of this one is around 800 euros. Of course, you can get discount on the SwitchBot website. Robot vacuums are between 4, 5 or 600 euros, and the stick vacuums are around 300, 400 or 500 euros. It depends on the brand, manufacturer, etc. etc. With the combo, you get everything that the standard robot vacuum cannot do. For example, this is above ground vacuum. And also dining tables, dining chairs, underneath sofas, wall corners, etc. etc. This depends on the type of the robot you are buying, how the side brush is working, is the main brush going out in, etc. etc. But robot vacuums do have their limitations. In terms of the stick vacuum, if you only go for the stick vacuum, everything is manual. The things that you can automate, you actually have to do by hand. But on the other hand, stick vacuums can do something that normal robot vacuums cannot do. And this is, once again, stairs, sofas, car seats, sofa seams, keyboards, air conditioners, etc. etc. On the other hand, we can compare the functionality of this robot with previous robots from SwitchBot. For example, K10 Plus, which I did video on, and also K10 Plus Pro. The price for this one is higher than the K10 Plus Pro, but it is only around 200 euros higher, which is an awesome price for the handheld vacuum, and this one is really great vacuum. It does clean all the areas that also K10 Plus does, but the K10 Plus Pro is a bit worse in corners and around tables and chairs. While it still managed to go there where some other vacuums couldn't go, K10 Plus Pro was just better. In terms of the suction power, and I here have to correct myself, the suction power is 3000 and not 3000 pascals, but it's still better than K10 Plus, which was only 2500. In terms of the navigation, the K10 Plus was using LDS radar. LDS radar was also used but combined with PSD distance sensor in K10 Plus Pro, and this one has DTOF radar plus PSD distance sensor. And something once again that this combo has that previous models didn't have, this is that, cordless vacuum part with 20,000 pascals suction power, anti-tangle flow brush, flathead brush, crevice brush and mite removal brush. Yeah, you didn't have that with the previous models. But since I review things that are somehow attached to smart homes, we have to consider, is this robot capable of being attached or connected to, for example, Home Assistant? If you are using Apple, Amazon, Google or similar smart homes, you are able to connect this device via the SwitchBot Hub. This is a Wi-Fi device, as most robots are, so you do need some kind of Wi-Fi connection. It does work, of course, better if you are pairing it and using with the SwitchBot app, but you can still hook it up to all those various smart home ecosystems. And it does feature Matter Badge. So, hooking this up to Home Assistant leads to same thing that I had with the K10 Plus Pro inside Home Assistant. We can see that we have a robot available here, but the only option we have is to either send it to vacuum to whatever area it thinks it needs to vacuum, and also return it to dock, meaning that if I tick this switch, the robot has started to go and vacuum wherever, and when I tick the switch once again, the robot tells me that it is going back to the docking station for recharging. Up until now, you also needed to have either Hub 2 or the mini hub with Matter support to be able to hook this up via the Matter standard, because it needed Hub to be able to expose this as a sub-device. The latest firmware and the latest app allows you to hook up this device directly as a Matter device. No hub is needed. Also remember that if you want to hook this up to Apple HomeKit, there may be some issues because Apple is currently not supporting, as far as I know, vacuum cleaners. So while the support is there, Apple doesn't have support for it. I really would wish that SwitchBot would invest into integration with Home Assistant on much deeper level that would allow us to get the map out of the vacuum cleaner, the state of the brushes, and everything there is exposed inside the app also to Home Assistant. Is it needed? No, but it would be so nice to have it. On the other hand, the Matter standard doesn't support all those parameters, so I don't think or I don't believe that in the near future we'll be able to use Matter to push everything out of the SwitchBot combo in this case to our Home Assistant, or actually to any Matter compatible smart home you are using. The big question is it worth buying? If you, for example, have already K10 Plus Pro vacuum and some kind of a new handheld vacuum cleaner, 800 euros or 640 after discount, I'm not sure that it is worth it. But on the other hand, if you need to replace your handheld vacuum, or you plan to replace your robot vacuum, or you have additional floor that you want to cover with your smart vacuum, robotic vacuum cleaner, then for 610 euros, this is really an awesome buy. This is less than I paid my Roborock 5, which, yeah, does a lot less than this kit does. And also that has a less functionality and has a manual empty, etc, etc. One thing you have to note, and this is something I already mentioned, the dust bags for this combo are different. As you can see, as I mentioned, they have two holes. The link to this device, the Amazon links are not affiliated, they are just plain links, so I don't get anything out of it, but I believe that SwitchBot links will also be included inside the video description. They are affiliated links. That means that if you buy something, I get a small percentage of it. And this is how I finance myself doing this video creating and time-losing business. So if you are considering to buy one, please use my affiliated links. And also, I need to be honest. I don't have this vacuum anymore. I've given it away because there was somebody that needed new vacuums more than I did, because the dog chewed the last one. So yeah, I did use it for some time, it was really awesome, but then again, as said, I like to make people happy, I cannot keep all the devices that I get, so this one has now a better home, and in that home the dog really likes to chase it around the home. What are the cons or the negative sides? Well, one thing is, yeah, it's pretty big. Wherever you put it, this handle will stick out. But unfortunately, there is no way around it. You cannot simply hide, it cannot be telescopic as far as I know, so yeah, it is not a small device. The second part is that it is smart, but it is also semi-smart. So for example, if you find something on the floor, you pick up your hand vacuum cleaner, clean it, put it in the dock in very short period of time, it will not auto-empty. It needs to run for some time for the base station to recognize or think that there is a dirt or something inside the dustbin to try to empty it. These are the only cons that I figured in around 2-3 weeks of using this vacuum. In terms of K10 Plus Pro robotic vacuum cons, well, there are a couple of issues, but I think those issues are with all the robots, maybe even worse with this one. Since this is a very small robot, it has a very small dustbin. And if you do not run it daily, or not daily, but routinely, the dustbin can get too filled, so the dust falls out of it, and it also is unable to empty it at the dust station. I wish there was some kind of a sensor that would alert you if the dustbin was not emptied, so that I would then go by hand and empty it, but it doesn't have. But on the other hand, also solution or fixing this problem with the small dustbin is that you can set up the shorter time interval between emptying the dustbin. I think that the minimum is 60 minutes. I would also like to see at least 45 or 30 minutes, maybe. But the other option is keep your flat cleaner or send the robot more frequently. Not once a week, do it 2 times or 3 times a week. I really do hope that you did find this video interesting, and if you did find this video interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really means a lot to me, but it also helps with the YouTube algorithms. If you have any kind of questions, comments, ideas for future videos, you can always drop them down in a comment section below. And also, I would like to hear your opinion. What do you think about this SwitchBot's idea to put handheld robot in the same base where the smart robotic vacuum is located? And before I end up the video, as always, I want to say thanks to all those wonderful people that are supporting me and that have become YouTube channel members. Thank you all for all of your support. But let's not forget each and every one of you who has watched, shared, liked, or commented on my videos. Thank you. If you too want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the join button down below and becoming a YouTube channel member for only €2 or $2 per month. Or you can go to my merchandise store and get something there. T-shirt, hoodie, coffee mug, or something similar. Last but not least, as always, you can send me super thanks and I will be super thankful for that. I will be seeing you next time. Until then, bye bye and have fun.